All right, today we're just going to talk about really simply how to wrap a box for gift giving in paper. And obviously the first thing you want to do is put everything you need in the box. So I'm a big fan of brown paper, and so I like to use that to create a little bit of character inside the box as well. I also use it for space. The box that I'm using here for this gift is the gift that I'm using is a little too small for the box. So just a little extra paper helps seal that up. And then what I'm going to do, I want to make sure before I wrap a box, the most important thing in my mind is that the box is square. If the box is a little bit crooked, if it's not taped together well, then when you go to wrap it, the paper is going to be off. So notice that when I fold the flaps down there of the box, I'm going to make sure that they're put together tight, and then I'm going to make sure that those flaps that are folded over line up really well with the end of the box. And so that's why I do one at a time to make sure that they're done nice and square. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if it's really close, that's a huge help to making sure that when you're all done wrapping the box, the package is going to look good. One of the things that I like to do, it's kind of fun for me, I don't know how much fun it is for people I give gifts to, is sometimes what I'll do is I will just use a bunch of packing tape around the box, and it makes it kind of hard to get into, which can be kind of fun if you get the right person. So if you know the people you're giving the gifts to, that can be kind of a fun thing. If you do that, you want to make sure that the gift is pretty indestructible, because a lot of times people, once they realize the tape is tough, will get a little aggressive with that. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out the paper. And so I just got my roll there, and I pull it out, and it's the length of the box plus the height of the box, and then I just a little bit extra space there, and then I tighten that up. And that gives me the size that I need to be able to wrap the whole box. Now this particular box is just about the right size for the width of the roll of paper, which is kind of nice. But you can see once I do that, once I tear that off, I'm going to put the box inside, and then I'm going to just measure around and see how that looks. Notice I put the top of the box facing down when I put that in there, because you want the top going to be up when you're done. But I just wrap that around and see how much is overlapping, and then I'm going to just cut off the excess from that. And I always save my scraps, because it's amazing how many times I'll take those scraps and I'll use those scraps in other projects or other decoration or things that are going on, or maybe I'll cut something too short and I'll just put that inside and kind of hide some evil. So I'll take that scrap once I cut it off and I'll save that, or I might use that to stuff inside another box too. But so you're just going to cut that off, trim that down, and then I'm going to take that edge that I cut and I'm going to tuck it under the straight factory edge, because that'll make it cleaner looking on the outside. Now I'm going to readjust it and line up the box so that the paper, so that seam is about right in the middle of the box, and then the box is about in the middle of the paper. And then what I'm going to do is just pull that snug, pull that tight, and then take a piece of tape. Doesn't have to be a big piece of tape, just a small piece of tape, and then tear that off, and then put that right there to hold that in place. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll add a second or a third piece of tape to seal the box all the way around. This case I did because the box is a little bigger. I don't always, but notice I just push the paper down so that it's nice and flat. And then I'm going to fold the top down, and then I'm going to fold the sides in, and then I'm going to fold the bottom flap up. And that's how I seal off the box. Now I haven't taped the paper to the box, and I never want to do that. So what I do is I fold the end, and then I flip it up to keep that snug, and then I work on the other end. So again, I'm going to fold the one flap down, and then I fold the sides in, and then I fold the other flap in. And that way I can create it snug because it's standing up on the end now. And then when I fold that last flap down, I make sure that things are tight, snug, and looks good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that flap that's left, and it's a little big in my mind, so sometimes I'll cut that off. In this case, what I'm going to do is just simply fold that under, and that way I can create a clean looking edge. Now you can see right there in the middle, there's 3 pieces of paper coming together, and on the edges, there's 3 pieces of paper coming together. So that's where I'm going to put my tape. I'm going to make it snug in the middle, and I'm going to make sure that all 3 of those pieces of tape are nice and flat against the box. And then I just tear off a little piece of tape and put that right there to hold that in place. And now you have the beginning of a clean look. Now, That gives me some freedom now on the edges there. If it's a little bit loose, just to clean that up. And then I'm gonna, again, put the tape right where the 3 pieces of paper come together and make sure that little piece of tape is on all 3 pieces of paper. And that just holds it simple and it holds it snug and it makes it look great. Now what I can do is I can flip it over, and that edge that I didn't seal up, I can redo and just clean up. And you're gonna see when I do this on the side, it looks like that one piece kind of got tucked in there a little bit too far, and that created some buckling. So I just pull it out a little bit and clean that up again, and that makes it fold nice and flat against the box. And then the other side was in good shape, so I just pulled that down. And then what I'm gonna do here is, again, crease up the edges and then fold that flap over just like I did on the other side. It's going to look really, really similar once all is said and done. Again, it's about the same distance, too far, so I'm just going to fold that edge under and then seal that, crease that up, and then where the 3 pieces of paper come together, again, I'm just going to slap a piece of tape on there, pull that nice and tight, and then put the piece of tape in, and then again on the next spot, and then one more spot, and that's basically all there is. Real quick, real simple. The box is wrapped, it looks clean, and it's ready to go. Wrap gifts, spread love. It's what the doctor ordered.